There are moments when life moves so quietly that even the heart forgets how much is happening beneath the surface. Yet somewhere between ordinary mornings and restless nights, unseen threads continue weaving stories that have not fully arrived, carrying emotions that have been growing in silence for longer than you realize. Tonight, something gentle shifts in the air, and what once felt distant begins moving closer in ways that cannot be forced and do not need chasing. The world often teaches people to search loudly for signs, but many meaningful things enter softly. A future does not always announce itself with grand moments because sometimes it first appears through small feelings, repeated thoughts, familiar energies, and the strange comfort of sensing that change has already started before the eyes can recognize it. There is someone whose mind keeps returning to your presence, not because of coincidence, but because your energy stayed with them long after moments ended. They carry memories differently now, revisiting details they once overlooked, noticing the way your existence quietly settled into spaces they never expected to share. My beloved child, there are connections that arrive with noise and disappear with speed, and then there are connections that settle like light through a window, slowly changing everything without asking permission. This feeling surrounding you belongs to patience, quiet movement, and emotional truths that have been unfolding behind the scenes for longer than you know. Type Amen if this message resonates with your spirit. Many people believe futures are built only through actions they can measure, yet hearts build futures through imagination long before reality catches up. Somewhere, someone has already pictured your laugh in ordinary moments, imagined your support during difficult seasons, and quietly wondered how different life feels when shared instead of carried alone. Their thoughts are not perfect because people rarely think in perfect lines. They drift between hope and hesitation, certainty and caution, carrying emotions they have not fully organized, but through every cycle, your presence keeps returning like a familiar melody that refuses to disappear. You may not notice these invisible movements because your attention has been focused on surviving responsibilities, healing disappointments, and learning how to continue after moments that demanded more strength than expected. Yet emotional energy often works quietly, continuing its work while daily life keeps moving forward. Archangel Michael says, "There is wisdom in not forcing timing because what belongs in alignment often grows strongest in hidden places first." The unseen seasons matter because roots deepen where eyes cannot watch. Comment 333 as a sign of welcoming peaceful timing. There were periods when you questioned whether your efforts to stay kind, loyal, and genuine still mattered. Those moments shaped more than circumstances because every experience slowly refined the way you carry yourself, making your energy recognizable to people seeking something real in a world that often rewards pretending. Someone notices this authenticity even if their words remain incomplete. They notice how you continue moving despite exhaustion, how your heart remains open despite disappointment, and how your quiet resilience says more than loud promises ever could. Their thoughts travel beyond surface attraction because they imagine consistency. They imagine conversations after difficult days, support during uncertain moments, shared routines, peaceful silences, and the comfort of building something stable rather than temporary. Life has taught many people to expect dramatic signs while overlooking gentle ones. Sometimes the strongest signal arrives through repeated emotional presence, through the strange feeling of being remembered even during distance, through the sense that certain connections never fully leave. Type, I receive peace, if calm energy speaks to you. There is beauty in realizing that not everything meaningful requires urgency. Some futures develop through slow understanding, through emotional maturity, and through the quiet courage of allowing things to unfold without controlling every detail. The person thinking about you carries their own history of unfinished chapters and silent disappointments. They know what it feels like when trust becomes difficult, which is why their emotions move carefully, measuring possibilities while protecting vulnerable places inside themselves. You may sense this connection during unexpected moments. A memory appears without invitation, a feeling arrives without explanation, and suddenly ordinary routines feel touched by something softer, something difficult to describe yet impossible to ignore. My beloved child, never underestimate how deeply your existence affects spaces you enter. Many people walk through life without realizing their kindness, resilience, and warmth continue living inside other people's memories long after interactions end. Comment 111 to welcome aligned connections. There is a difference between being noticed and being remembered. Being noticed lasts moments, but being remembered lives inside routines, thoughts, and quiet reflections that return repeatedly without permission. Someone carries pieces of your presence into ordinary days. Certain songs sound different now, certain places trigger memories, and certain moments create the strange feeling that something important remains unfinished. Their vision of the future is not built from fantasy alone. It is built from observing who you are during difficult seasons, recognizing your consistency, and understanding that genuine connection often grows from emotional safety rather than perfect circumstances. Archangel Michael says, "Trust the value of your presence even when evidence feels delayed." What is growing quietly still grows. Type Amen and continue listening with an open heart. There were nights when loneliness convinced you that meaningful connection belonged to everyone except you. Those moments felt endless while they lasted, yet they never told the complete story because healing seasons often disguise themselves as waiting periods. Your path shaped qualities that cannot be copied easily. Patience developed where frustration existed, wisdom formed where confusion once lived, and compassion expanded through experiences that tested your strength repeatedly. Someone notices these layers, even if indirectly. They recognize emotional depth, quiet strength, and the way your energy creates comfort without demanding attention. The future they imagine is surprisingly simple. Shared meals, ordinary mornings, supportive conversations, laughter during difficult weeks, and the feeling of facing life beside someone trustworthy have become more meaningful to them than excitement without stability. Comment 444 as a reminder that steady energy matters. You have spent time carrying responsibilities others never fully understood. Because of this, part of you learned independence so deeply that receiving support started feeling unfamiliar. Yet connection does not erase independence. Real connection creates space where strength and softness exist together without conflict. Someone thinking about you senses this balance. They see someone capable yet caring, strong yet human, resilient yet deserving of rest. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks. There are invisible moments happening even now. Thoughts crossing minds unexpectedly, emotions shifting quietly, and futures adjusting themselves through choices too small to notice individually but powerful when combined over time. Type peace if you are choosing trust over pressure. You are not being prepared for perfection because perfection cannot sustain relationships. You are being shaped for honesty, emotional presence, and the ability to remain yourself even when life becomes complicated. Someone thinking about you values this more than appearances suggest. They imagine authenticity because pretending grows exhausting while truth creates peace. Their feelings continue expanding through observation. They notice how you respond during challenges, how you continue moving after setbacks, and how your energy carries both gentleness and endurance. My beloved child, your journey was never only about reaching destinations. It was also about becoming someone capable of recognizing meaningful connections when they finally arrive. Comment 777 as a symbol of hopeful timing. Sometimes the heart senses movement before circumstances confirm it. This creates tension because humans naturally want proof while emotions often move first. Stillness has been teaching you something important. Not every delayed moment equals denial, and not every quiet season means nothing is happening. Someone continues imagining possibilities involving you because your presence feels different from what they expected to encounter. Familiarity and peace rarely arrive together so naturally, which makes your impact difficult to ignore. Archangel Michael says, "Release the need to force understanding." Some things become clear while simply continuing forward. The future remains unwritten, yet energy leaves traces. Thoughts repeated often become intentions, intentions influence actions, and actions slowly shape reality. You deserve connections where effort flows both directions. You deserve spaces where vulnerability feels safe and where your heart no longer carries every burden alone. Somewhere within this unfolding story, someone already sees pieces of that future when they think about you. Their imagination continues building rooms your presence quietly fills, creating emotional spaces where companionship feels less like fantasy and more like possibility. Type Amen if you are open to peaceful new chapters. The road behind you contains enough evidence of your resilience. Every difficult season added something valuable, even when pain tried convincing you otherwise. Now the energy around you feels softer. Not easier necessarily, but softer, because growth changed the way you carry uncertainty. Someone notices this calm strength. They think about what life feels like beside someone who has survived hard seasons without losing kindness completely. Your story remains in motion. Their thoughts remain active. And somewhere between timing, healing, and quiet emotional truth, futures continue forming in silence long before they become visible. Hold peace close tonight. Carry hope gently tomorrow. Continue becoming yourself fully because authentic energy travels farther than forced effort ever could. And while you continue walking your path, remember this quiet truth: meaningful connections often begin long before anyone finds the courage to speak them aloud. The quiet movement surrounding your life continues even when days appear unchanged. Beneath routines, responsibilities, and moments that seem ordinary, emotional currents keep shifting, carrying people closer to realizations they once avoided and feelings they once tried to silence. There are seasons when life teaches through absence, and there are seasons when life teaches through recognition. This season carries recognition because certain emotions can only stay hidden for so long before they begin asking to be acknowledged. Someone thinking about a future with you has started noticing how often your presence appears inside small moments. A random memory arrives while they work, a familiar feeling returns during quiet evenings, and ordinary experiences suddenly feel connected to someone they cannot stop remembering. The interesting thing about emotional truth is that it rarely arrives dramatically. More often, it grows quietly until ignoring it becomes harder than accepting it. Comment 222 if you believe timing has its own rhythm. You have changed more than you realize. The version of you that once accepted confusion without boundaries slowly transformed into someone who values clarity, peace, and emotional honesty. Growth like this creates different energy. It changes what you attract, what you tolerate, and what begins finding its way toward you. Someone sees that difference. They sense maturity in your silence, strength in your patience, and comfort in the way you remain grounded even after difficult experiences. Their thoughts move beyond temporary emotions because something deeper keeps returning. They imagine stability, emotional safety, and the quiet joy that comes from sharing life with someone who understands struggle yet still chooses kindness. There are invisible conversations people have with themselves when feelings become real. They replay moments, reconsider decisions, and imagine possibilities while trying to understand what their heart already knows. This person has entered that space repeatedly. They revisit memories not because they are trapped in the past, but because those memories keep pointing towards something unfinished. You may never see these moments directly. Still, emotional energy leaves traces, and sometimes those traces appear as unexpected peace, familiar thoughts, or the sense that something meaningful is slowly approaching. Type Amen if you welcome peaceful alignment. My beloved child, do not underestimate delayed recognition. Many people understand value only after life gives them enough distance to see clearly. Distance often teaches appreciation. Silence often creates understanding. Time often reveals what constant noise hides. Someone thinking about you carries this realization now. They understand that certain connections feel different because they create peace instead of confusion. You spent enough time questioning your worth in spaces that fail to recognize your depth. Those experiences created exhaustion, but they also created wisdom. Now your energy speaks differently. It no longer asks desperately to be chosen because it understands its own value. That shift changes everything. People feel confidence without arrogance, warmth without pressure, and authenticity without performance. Comment 555 as a reminder that growth changes outcomes. There is a future version of yourself already walking toward calmer days. That version carries less emotional weight because some burdens were never meant to stay forever. Someone imagining life with you sees glimpses of that future too. They picture shared victories, supportive conversations, and the comfort of building memories that feel safe rather than uncertain. These thoughts do not always arrive loudly. Sometimes they appear through small moments of longing for connection that feels real. Archangel Michael says, continue choosing peace over pressure. What grows naturally often lasts longer. The world moves quickly, encouraging constant action and immediate answers. Yet emotional truths often move slower because hearts protect themselves before opening fully. You are not behind. Your story is not late. Your timeline still carries possibility. Someone thinking about you understands this more than before. They have learned enough through experience to realize meaningful connections deserve patience. Type, I trust the process, if you are choosing calm over control. There are days ahead where current uncertainties will feel smaller than they do now. Not because challenges disappear completely, but because clarity changes perspective. You have survived enough difficult chapters to recognize strength when it appears quietly. You know resilience rarely looks dramatic while it is happening. Someone sees that resilience inside you. They notice how you continue showing kindness while carrying responsibilities others never fully understood. That observation matters because admiration built through reality often becomes stronger than admiration built through fantasy. The future remains open, breathing, unfinished. That uncertainty sometimes feels uncomfortable, yet it also creates space for beautiful things to enter unexpectedly. Somewhere in that space, someone continues thinking about what life looks like with your energy beside theirs. Not perfect. Not effortless. Simply real. Comment 888 if you are making space for new beginnings. You do not need to force what belongs naturally. You do not need to chase what already feels pulled toward understanding. Continue building your life. Continue protecting your peace. Continue becoming more yourself with each passing season. Because while you continue forward, unseen emotional threads keep weaving connections, shaping timing, and guiding hearts toward moments they once believed were impossible to reach. And tonight, somewhere between memory and hope, someone still carries thoughts of you into their future.